One of them to the point that the board game you put down and play on looks like the user interface of an actual roguelike that you go through. And yeah, it's a 5-level dungeon. You fight critters, and then you get to the bottom of the dungeon.
Greetings, small one. Are you prepared to take up arms and destroy those who would stand against us?
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day wherein I forgot I have therapy today. So it's a late start. It is 8:15 a.m. I'm going to have this up and posted late because of that. Normally on these days, if I start at 8 o'clock or so, it's after 10 o'clock when everything goes public because my videos finish rendering while I'm in therapy. Well, I'm not even going to be able to finish editing before I have therapy. Thumbs up. So thank you for watching, no matter what time this goes public. Yay, thumbs up for that. Oh boy, I slept last night. No inner thigh muscle cramping this morning. I had to deal with that yesterday. Not horrible, but it was horrible enough. Very painful for a time. And I was finally able to get up and dress, though, thank goodness, yesterday. But no cramping today, though I could tell. My muscles always want to. Yay. And of course, front loading of videos. If you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that'd be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, I read every one. I thumbs up each one I do, which again is all of them, and I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. I would also like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these literally beautiful and literally awesome people who are literally beautiful and literally awesome. They help to keep me and my pets, my little kitty cat and my hamster, alive and healthy. It is greatly appreciated. I like metabolizing, and I know that my pets enjoy metabolizing too. Thank you so very much, each and every one of these beautiful and awesome people. Hey, front loading a video over. Oof da. Oh. And I have gas inside of my tummy that's escaping. Oh yay. Now, the other day something showed up in the mail, and I want to talk about some stuff first. I had purchased nothing. I got this as a gift after talking about it and saying, hey, this is really cool. And someone said, I will buy that for you. And they did. And they bought the game. And they bought a battle mat that goes with it so that you can do a lot of the stuff that you have to do bookkeeping-wise off paper. And then only transfer it to the paper when you're done. And this is a full game. It's a full adventure. Now, the thing about this, though, is it's just adventures. When you make up a character and you make up a quest, you immediately head to the quest. And if you fail or you succeed, it's just done right there. And then you do paperwork for when you're back at your home. I took a risk. I took a very, very calculated risk, deciding I will eat less. And I ordered this. This is the World Builder book. So that you don't have to just go, well, okay, here's a dungeon, I'm going to immediately go there. No, when you make up a character, you make up their home hex on a map. And when you make up their home hex on a map, you have to then determine where on the maps your quests are, and then you have to travel to your quests, and then you go on your adventure while you're there. They track calendars. It is crazed, and there's the sheet so you can make up your world. And not only that, when you're going on your world, when you fill up 25 of the hexes on a sheet like that, and there's a lot more than 25, you are then able to open up a new sheet and start doing a new portion of the world. So your world can continue growing over several maps, whether or not you're using one character or many. So, oof da. I'm eventually hoping that I can get all of the books. The other 4 in the middle now are supplemental rules and actually a campaign. Now, the idea of a solo campaign for a tabletop role-playing stuff, that's old. Old. Back when I was in the Air Force. And I was in the Air Force from 1982 until 1986. But when I was over in Germany, I did a lot of solo role-playing stuff. And RuneQuest from Chaosium did a ton of solo RPG books. And there's still the company Flying Buffalo that was a company well before the 70s and is still publishing stuff now. But they came out with the game book from this one fellow. I think it's Ken Ralston or Ken St. Andre, can't remember which person now. But they invented the game Tunnels and Trolls. It's like in the 8th version of it, but they're still publishing that game. And they made millions of solo adventures. You could buy them where they'd be like $1 or $2, and it was just a quick, well, semi-quick, it'd take you maybe a week and then you could keep playing it, a solo adventure. So playing this stuff solo isn't new. And in fact, there's a free print and play game called Iron Sworn that's a full solo RPG. And then they have solo RPG games that I've been watching that are actual board games. One of them to the point that the board game you put down and play on looks like the user interface of an actual roguelike that you go through. And yeah, it's a 5-level dungeon. You fight critters and then you get to the bottom of the dungeon. Another one is, I can't remember what it is, what it's named, but it is a game with cards and stuff like that, but you are an old adventurer ready to retire on your last adventure, because this is the one where you need the money so you can finally retire. How often do you think you get to retire in a board game like that? I think the odds are quite large that portions of you are going to be inside of various creatures' bellies at some point. There's a lot of games I wish I had the money to get. But like I said, I took a risk, because that book over there was like $30 after taxes, and that was $30 worth of food that I wasn't going to be able to eat because I wanted the game. I took a risk by ordering it. I am going to be helped next month. When I went in for my interview to get my food stamps turned back on, there is a portion of my money from disability that the state has been automatically removing to pay for Medicare Part B. I've never used Medicare Part B. I've never worried about what it was costing me. It's not well over $100, but it's over $100 that they've been taking out every single month to pay for this. The state of Washington is going to take over that cost. And then I am going to get that money. That is really going to help. It's not going to save me, but it's going to give me a tiny bit of breathing room. It's going to take off a 1 or 2 pound weight off my ankles while I'm treading water in the ocean. I mean, mostly I'm sinking and just barely keeping my mouth and nose above the water. This will give me just a little bit more room, and that's nice. So I just have to survive until the end of the month. And then next month, I'm going to be able to get a little bit more money to survive on, thank goodness. So yeah, that was a risk. It was a risk, but I think it was worth it. Now I have to do more printing from the library, because there's at least 6 pages that you have to carry, because it's a different character sheet. It's got mounts, it's got the world that you're mapping out. There's all sorts of crazy stuff, so I'm really looking forward to it. Even with that, there's something called the mapping game for the 100 dungeon, so you don't have to actually physically map it out on paper if you don't want to. It's got little cards that you can set out and extra little tokens and all sorts of fun stuff. Martin Knight, the person who invented this thing, I'm glad that they're making money, and I hope that they're surviving well. It is a good game and well worth it, and I just wanted to talk about that. Also, my sinuses have been just destroying me of late. It has been damp, wet and raining, which means there's all sorts of leaf mold and fungus, and I wake up in the morning, I start to wheeze and hack and cough. I go from my bedroom on the 2nd floor of the place we're renting, down to my bathroom down on the bottom floor. By the time I get there, and it doesn't take long, it's like 30 seconds to walk from my bedroom down into the room, and I'm dripping out of my nose. As I'm breathing. It is horrific. I have to sneeze and cough and hack before I'm even able to breathe. I even wrecked my throat and my lungs by making that sound effect, so. Unfortunately, also, I do damage to my lungs through my cannabis use. Yes, the amount of damage that you do to your lungs in the cannabis smoke versus cigarette smoke department is a huge difference. I've said this before and I'll say it again. They have taken autopsies of lifelong cannabis smokers, and yeah, there's damage on the lungs, you can tell. The outside of the lungs looks seared, like they took them, slapped them on a grill, and then, made sure that they were nice and browned, flipped it over, did the same thing. No, you could see the damage. It does damage. Your lungs do not like anything but just oxygen and other gases in them. And even then, the gases and the amount that they are, it needs to be of a certain degree. When you smoke anything, you're hurting yourself. But as mentioned, lifelong smokers of cannabis will look like their lungs were seared on a grill. Whereas a lifelong cigarette smoker has just like 4 or 5 greasy black little charcoal briquettes where the lobes of the lungs were. There is such a difference between the two. But yeah, it does do damage, so I know part of my wheezy problem is that. But it's only a part, because when I hack and sneeze and get the junk up from up here, I'm clear. I'm clear now. I have to really do stuff to make the noise, and then my throat and my lungs complain because I've just hurt them. But I'm clear after I do that sort of stuff, so damaging yourself is okay. Now let's see. Oh, the last thing I want to talk about. I have watched on some debunking stuff about Christian apologists where, they always say, how can something come from nothing? Whereas we know from the whole Big Bang stuff, nothing came from nothing. There was something, and then there continued to be something else in a different state. We know that there was a state of matter in existence before inflation and the Big Bang. It's just we do not have the math and the physics to be able to explain it. But since then, we have. Now the thing too is they say, well, what was before the Big Bang? Time is a function of matter in our universe. Before our universe, there was no time as we understand it. You cannot say, well, it was before time. Time came into existence upon inflation. So there was no before time. Time came into existence at the same moment as our universe, the universe that we understand. Since after all, we don't know the entirety of how big the universe it is or more. There's so much that we are never going to learn. The size of the visible universe is intense, but the actual universe has gotten, with the inflation, so much bigger that there is light that will never reach us, because the space that it has to travel is getting larger and larger all the time, faster than light can travel. We'll never see the farthest parts of the universe. There has been a block and a wall put down. We're going to continue to get the light that was there from the very farthest parts. But now expansion will never see the outside. We'll never know how big the entire actual universe is. We only have the visible universe, the universe that we can see. And while it's immense, it's just a portion. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. There was a whole lot of stuff. Yes. Because here's what I wanted to say about that. I talk about the UNGADA, the void, which is between multiverses in this whole multiversal system that I have. Now, when Christian apologists talk about nothing, they actually mean a state of matter, existence that we have never seen. We don't have a state of nothing in our universe. Even if you have nothing, there is still quantum foam, there is energy, there is stuff we have never seen. True nothing. But when Christian apologists say, how can something come from nothing, they mean a philosophical nothing. And the UNGADA, the void, is a philosophical nothing. Because when I say, you can't even call it nothing, because to call it nothing implies the existence of something. And if you can apply concepts and labels to it, then it is far too claustrophobic. Oh my God, how can you even breathe in this space? It is far, far too claustrophobic to be the void. The UNGADA, the void, is a philosophical void. There is nothing there. So when I say that Amaterasu, the Gakira, mother of all, the most powerful of the cosmic horrors and the one who birthed all of the 12 Angakira, she swam through the UNGADA to come to this multiverse. Number one, she survived it. And number two, it's of an infinite size. You can't traverse it. And she did. And she survived it. Two things you can't do. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language with, well, on that hand, with my depression, fibro, where I am on the spectrum, all of the various things that have happened in my life, my brain. Still though, let me call it my Chrome. Let me burp. We have confused all 29. The 80-20 rule is bizarre, but it's cool. And Flora Mew, always good to see you in the comments. I'm going to try and do something with that one story idea. MHUGI, thumbs up and thank you. Nando Rice Cheruti, thumbs up. I keep seeing you on Facebook, and I wish I had more to say, but thank you very, very much. It is greatly appreciated and good to see you. JAYY, I actually rested yesterday, so hopefully I'll rest today as well. And good to see you. Jesse Koskinen, I do feel better. Oh, my bloody sinuses though, and good to see you as well. Ben B, oh hell yeah, the minute it stood up and started hissing, I'd be gone. And good to see you in the comments. And then we have JJ, and that is it. 8 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Again, more than 0. Definitely a thumbs up. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text and if only for a short while. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And of course, with my hands in the air, am I doing this at the right time, at the right place? I have no ideas, but I don't know what device you're watching, so I don't know where the show more video description is, but inside of it I have links to my Twitter, my Facebook, my Patreon, and again I want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, again, literally beautiful and literally awesome. It is because of people like this that I am able to do things like take risks and purchase things to enrich my life. Thank you so very, very much. I cannot remember how long and when I put my hands up, so hopefully I haven't kept them up too long and I'm not taking them down too short. I have, what is that, carpal tunnel syndrome issues, so my wrists really hurt when I do stuff like that, so thumbs up. Don't feel good either when I do that. Of course, if you could toss me a like, appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence, and if you could hit the notification bell and the subscription button, that too would be very cool. I forgot to mention the fact that I have a PayPal if you'd like to help me out and keep me surviving, and if you'd like to help me out without sending money, I do have an Amazon wishlist link, as well as a throat that keeps clogging up. I do have an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it. At least I hope the cat food's on it. I need to double check. If you could check that out, that'd be very cool. Don't feel obligated. I don't feel entitled. And if you can't donate or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. Thumbs up on that. Well, hey, I did that all out of order, but at least I did it. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Well, yeah, I have therapy in less than a half hour. And then I have my med manager appointment where I'm going to talk about how I can't take my meds anymore and I can't get my blood pressure down to where it used to be. So a lot of stuff happening today. Hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done today. But remember, if you can't, nothing matters. Nothing matters. We're all going to die. Human civilization is going to fail. The planet will perish. The sun will die. The universe is going to continue onward, cold and dark for eternity. Nothing matters. Your life is your own. You are free to give it your own purpose and be happy. Positive nihilism for the win. So, you know what the precautions are, and with the covfefe bug still raging and surging again, of course, please take the precautions. You have to. You don't want to catch it. You don't want to spread it. Get boosted, get vaxxed, do the other things that you have to, please. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. And I will see you on the flip side. And quite frankly, I at least think that that's it's a very good thing.